I love books. I like these two authors. It just seems right. Hello, and welcome to this part of the pond, where it's the bullfrog and the one, the only, Newt.
Face reveal at 100,000 subscribers.
It is something very different than other channels are doing. When we reach that, you get that face. What do you think? Here in the pond, I know we are getting a little more steam because of Disney villains and our deep analysis of them. But we do more than just this. We actually do book reviews and movie reviews and also deep dives. And this was actually before the Disney villain stuff. If you want to watch those, beware, they are very cringeworthy. Mainly these. This was before the Newt. It was just me on my phone for half a year. It's bad. And first off, we need to talk about Easter eggs, because today we've noticed there's some franchises that really enjoy Easter eggs. PC. It shows you to realize they acknowledge the fact that they're all together at the same time. You see Easter eggs all over, and we get it. They're all tied together. It makes sense. There are also Easter eggs of a different sort, and that is in books. These are more fourth wall break jokes. We see it in Christopher Paolini's Inheritance Cycle, where in book 2, he uses a line from Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles. A little bit more adjusted, but he couldn't help it but go, "Barges? We don't need no stinking barges."
Barges? We don't need no stinking barges. Oh, no.
We have an acclaimed, really well-regarded author, Mary Robinette Kowal, in her glamorous books. Basically Jane Austen with illusion magic. Highly recommend, too. Where in one of her books, she does quote the movie Princess Bride, using one of too many great quotes. For example, this one.
Inconceivable! You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
But these two are not the only ones who do this. Strange enough, George R.R. Martin does do this fourth wall Easter egg break. Mostly in these two books. HBO's House of the Dragon is more based on this book. And unlike Game of Thrones, the story is done, beginning, middle, and end, all handwritten. And in this book, and shout out in this one as well, but you get a line of Tullys that will interact with this story, which we may see in the show. Hint, hint. And keep your eyes out for Grover Tully, Elmo Tully, and Kermit and Oscar Tully. And in the books, it talks how Kermit and Oscar are very green people, but mostly Oscar's also being this prickly, angry guy. Gee, all these sound familiar. Again, a small fourth wall break, but it's awesome to know that George is also a Sesame Street Muppet fan. And for that, please keep these characters in the show, HBO. Bye, George. I want to see Kermit. I want to see Elmo. I want to see Oscar Tully. But there are Easter eggs used in a different way. That is Brandon Sanderson and Michael J. Sullivan. Beginning with Sanderson. He has a huge array of different books, all that are somehow connected. From Stormlight Archive, this is a heavy one.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
We have Stormlight Archive, pretty heavy. Elantris, Mistborn, Warbreaker, and am I missing anything? I don't think so. If I am, sorry. There's a lot of books, and some of these are heads of book series. And some of those book series branch off to another book series. Sanderson is busy. Of course, the guy can write like wood going through a wood chipper. I wish I could write like him. This universe of different books and really different magic systems and different worlds. How does he connect? He connects them all through Easter eggs. There's a saying that's used a lot in the book Elantris, titled Dos Mio. Listen to it, and you can find it in other books. But he also weaves with a character by the name of Hoyd. And Hoyd is used in all of these books. He's this shadowy type character. And you may see him once in a while. But if you can find out a way, if you do what I do, marathon all of these books, and I mean all of them, and try to find the Hoyd story, you start to see all these Easter eggs can actually build somewhat of a story. It's not just shout out, it's this intricate weave that actually makes you go, huh, I wonder what the story is. What is this building up to? It's more than just Hoyd. There's this also mysterious big baddie that's also involved. And you can't help but go, where's the beginning? Which one out of this entire, all these series is the first book of Hoyd and this vague villain? And where is the beginning? You have to really re-listen and re-listen and re-listen for it to find out this mystery out. And this is really well done. Sanderson props, people. Of course, this is the pond. And as much as we're gushing over Sanderson, we can't help but gush over Sullivan. We love this author. He does Easter eggs in a very unique way. They are world-based. This isn't a universe. This is a world. He has Rhaenyra Revelations, and then under it is Rhaenyra Chronicles. It's more like the origin of how these two main characters, Hadrian and Royce, who you fall in love with. Well, one of them, if not both, then one or the other. Depends your mood, who you are. Aren't you a Hadrian or are you more a Royce? Or are you a Hadrian and Royce? I'm both. But you see there's something deeper with the Age of Myth books, which are just finished. And the most recently published Nolan of the Rise and Fall trilogy. I just did a review on that. I do my best not to be spoiler. The way how he does Easter eggs is very fun. Again, this is world, not universe. With world, he has written the present and the Age of Myth books and then Rise and Fall trilogy are thousands or hundreds of years before these two book series. Where you're looking forward to that Easter egg, the Pickering Blade, but yet you find some things very interesting. Example, Hadrian of Hadrian and Royce, one of my favorite characters of literature. This guy is the glasses half full, where good can triumph over evil, that he, the hero, can save the kingdom and get the girl. He has this very fantastical ideal, the knight in shiny armor. Well, in the Age of Myth books, these are being basically the origins of mankind, gives you the origin of that image. The implications of seeing a character be the knight in shining armor, A, your jaw drops, B, you can't help but go, oh yeah, and C, this is the image where Adrian wants to be. I may have to go spoilers here. And I'm sorry. If you don't want to get spoiled, go to this time card. Well, in Nolan, there's chapter 11. And I can't help but... it's awesome. I wasn't expecting. I'm personally looking forward to the Pickering Blade. What's its origin? What's its Easter egg? Sullivan, I need to know. If you're watching this, and there's a small chance you are, please let us know when's the Pickering Blade gonna be. I want to know. That is a fun Easter egg. But what you did in chapter 11, the implications are even astronomical. Because this Easter egg of chapter 11 ties Age of Myth and Rhaenyra Revelations and Rhaenyra Chronicles all tighter in a story I didn't know I cared about. Who knew that the sword that was meant to kill the first Gilara Bryn survived that to the Rise and Fall, and suddenly we see that the implications that the sword is actually Hadrian's third blade. And not just any blade, this is a spadone. This thing is huge. And he carries that and rarely uses it in the books. This guy walks around with 3 swords And the biggest boss of all his blades, he uses not that much in the entire series. Both series, by the way. I didn't know this sword had this history. This is an Easter egg where you see a story, a legitimate story for an inanimate object. It's like Sullivan knows I am a sucker for magical objects and objects that just have history. Lord of the Rings may have been a good sucker for me too. But Sullivan, it's like the sword was just meant to be a third blade. You didn't notice it or worry about it. But the more he goes in each of these books, suddenly you realize there's a deeper history to it. A history you didn't even know or care about. That is a well-constructed Easter egg. It's very interesting how Easter eggs, when done properly in a unique way of showcasing a story within a story, you can get these. A wanderer mystery building up to a big villain that connects several books, kind of like Avengers, but unlike Avengers, it's not the same thing. It's a different feel and flow. The buildup is far more too. Sullivan's Elan, you get history and lore you didn't know you were expecting. And what I gave is the tippest tip of the iceberg. Well, not really a tip, but it's an iceberg. This is just a piece of something bigger. It can do this, and it's very intriguing, and as much Marvel uses Easter eggs just to show, hey, we're connected. I get it. It's called Marvel. And DC is the same way. Everyone's like that. But it doesn't mean you have to be. Easter eggs can tell a story just as intricate as the movie you're making or as the story you're writing. Fourth wall breaks can be fun, but they can only do so much, though I would love to have Kermit. If you lasted this long, please like, share, and subscribe. And go down in the comments and write it down. I hear this helps videos. And if you want me to look into your favorite books, movies, shows, and everything else, please do. We would love to go through them. But for books, 7 or less. I'm not going to touch Wheel of Time, okay? And I know Amazon's doing its own series on it. No way I'm going to touch that. So until next time, it's the bullfrog and the newt shouting out. Oh my gosh, it just came to me. Maybe that's why George Martin didn't mind the fact that they actually had a small cameo of Elmo, Sesame Street's Elmo, interacting with Peter Dinklage and the actress who plays Circe. There's a real clip of it. Suddenly it makes even more sense. He wanted that to happen.